Joining me every Monday is commentator Esther Krakue. Esther, lovely to see you again. How can Harry and Meghan survive a mockery that has made them look ridiculous around virtually the whole world? Not least because that mockery was so accurate. I mean, I can't imagine they've got an ego big enough to bear that.
Well, I'm sure that's certainly not the look that they were going for. And look, South Park is known for satire and for mocking people. No one is safe. This isn't the first time they've done an episode on the royal family. But this particular episode was quite scathing in the grains of truth that it held. And I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon, but there's so many moments of truth in that episode that makes it so funny. I mean, really, the episode, part of the episode called what they were doing a worldwide privacy tour, which is obviously a play on really what they're trying to do.
Every time I hear that,
fantastic
it's just so brilliant. A worldwide privacy tour.
There were so many brilliant moments in there. I think the reality is most people have got the sense that this couple really don't want their privacy, or at least they've done everything in their power to not get it. And also, it's really hard to sympathize with kind of the complaints and the woes of a couple like this. Again, like the episode said, they're very wealthy. He's been handed everything he has on a platter. They're literal royals. They're living in a multi-million-pound house in Southern California. I mean, really, what grievances do you have that most people can relate with?
Now, but Esther, I now see many reports claiming that Harry and Meghan have been stung so badly that they've got lawyers looking through this, hoping to sue. Look, frankly, I don't know if I can believe those reports at all. I've seen no hard evidence that this is the case. And for one reason I don't believe it, of course, is that it would make it even worse for them, wouldn't it, if they did sue?
Absolutely, and I'm sure that they have more better things to spend the royalties that they're getting from that best-selling book to do. And the reality is, you can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is. The South Park has done episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance. So it's not something that they would be able to sue about. And I generally just don't believe it, really.
So where do they go now?
Well, you would think they would kind of fade into obscurity, at least one would hope, and actually just to see if there's any truth in the privacy that they were so, desperate for. But the reality is, Harry's book is just one of a multi-book deal. So unfortunately for most of your viewers, there are more to come. And I'm sure Meghan has some books in the works as well. And, they're going to try and continue their goodwill tour while sprinkling in their criticisms of the royal family at every given moment. They're not going away anytime soon, that's for sure.
Well, may I suggest the cookbook? I think the whinging side of things has just gone belly up for them. It was interesting. One last thing is the global warming guru Greta Thunberg has published a massive book. I mean, honestly, if you dropped it, it'd be a health hazard to any children in your house. It's warning that global warming could destroy us and we must cut our emissions. I noted that you weren't impressed. Why is that?
Well, the reality is that book was printed using paper. They claimed it was recycled paper, but it's still paper that was gotten from cutting down trees. And, just ignoring that side of it, the ink is not environmentally friendly that was used to print the paper. The paper has to be delivered, and I don't think they're going to be using carrier pigeons to deliver the books from point A to B. Obviously, they're going to use a logistics network and fossil fuels, cars, all of that. But I think what saddens me is the fact that clearly Greta Thunberg is someone that has been taken advantage of. She is being used as a mouthpiece by people that perfectly well understand that you would look like a very horrible person for shouting down a passionate, autistic teenager. I've often made the point that if you got a carbon copy of Greta Thunberg in another person, but they were advocating for the use of fossil fuels, somehow I believe they wouldn't have as much popularity or as reach as Greta Thunberg does. But unfortunately, she does, because she's being peddled by people with a different agenda. And this is just one of the things that makes me sad, because clearly this is very hypocritical to put out a book to tackle climate change when you could really just have made it an ebook. There's nothing that would have stopped them from doing that. But of course, they wouldn't have made as much money off the backs of really naive people that take the words of teenagers seriously. And it also begs the question, why are we taking a teenager seriously? We don't take most teenagers seriously on anything. If a teenager was passionate about not going to school, that doesn't mean we suddenly say, okay, teenagers, you don't have to go to school. We literally listen to teenagers about nothing because they're not experts in anything, because they're teenagers. They haven't lived a life. They don't pay taxes. They don't go out to work. They don't have responsibilities. But somehow we have made Greta Thunberg the authority on all things climate change. And it's clearly there's someone pulling the strings.
I do think her star is on the descent. You don't hear from her much anymore. Esther Krakue, thank you so much for your time.